So, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, October 15th. So, I feel like I haven't spoken to you all in a while. So, we're, believe it or not, halfway through the semester. I will be submitting midterm grades tomorrow, or today for some of them. So, if your grade isn't so good, don't panic. You still have time. If you need to catch up on some assignments, send me an email, and if they're not too long ago, I will open them up for you. I hope you are all doing well, and some of you I've talked to on the phone, which is great, and I can have another live session maybe in a week or two if some of you would like to join. On Wednesday, there's going to be a virtual career fair, so I will post that for you so that you will be able to log on to that, okay? So again, I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you are taking some time for you, okay? So this segment is going to be in two parts. We're going to talk about poverty in America, and we're going to talk about it mostly from how does it affect individuals, all right? And I have a little clip embedded in here that you can watch. I will post a worksheet too, that if you have time, if you can discuss it with somebody else. This would be something we would discuss in class, but since we're not face to face, this will be hard. And then I will be posting a video with another worksheet for you to watch. The video was from 2011, but I think it's still pertinent today. And again, the most important thing is to help you be able to analyze and and look at particular individuals. Some of you may have, unfortunately, direct experience with this topic, and some of you might not. So we're going to look at. So sorry about that. Hit the wrong button there. So we're going to look at it from the United States. Okay, poverty in the United States, because as we know, it looks different than other particular countries. So this is how it looks. Poverty in America. Again, this is probably a couple years old, but I think it's still, relevant. Many people think that, too much welfare prevents people from getting off of poverty. Okay, and then lack of job opportunities, lack of good educational opportunities, breakdown of families, lack of work ethic, lack of government funding, drugs, and racial discrimination. But we will really find out in a couple of slides what is the real cause of poverty. Okay, most individuals, do not really know the cause. Most individuals think, oh, it's just people are being lazy. But in fact, that is not true. So I like to present some of these facts just to help you to be able to see, what is the truth of it. So overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. You might want to write down these definitions. You may see this on a test somewhere. Okay, hint, hint. Charity means examples are food pantries, just kind of handing out goods and services, mostly goods to individuals. Justice is changing systems. Okay, so for example, if we changed childcare systems so it would all be free, that would be an act of justice. Okay, so justice is changing an entire system so more people get benefits. All right, that is always kind of a better way to go because then it makes it more equitable to more individuals. Not that we don't need charity because, especially during this pandemic time, we need charity to kind of get us over the, hump of all that. But however, justice is more equitable for individuals. So what are some poverty guidelines? Okay, so this means you would be eligible for some services. And again, this is of 2019, so it hasn't changed much. They do the poverty guidelines, I think, every couple of years, or every year, but this is 2019. A single adult, if you make, less than 12,000 or 12,490 or less, you will be eligible for some benefits. A family of two, 16,000. $910. A family of 3, $21,330. And a family of 4, $25,750. Now, this is gross income, okay? And this you may want to take down too. Gross income is the total amount you earn, not the amount that you take home, okay? So net income is the amount that you take home after your taxes. So if you look at this, this is not really, I think you would agree, too realistic. You know, if you have a family of 4 living on $25,750, especially if you look at a car, if you look at internet, and we all need computers and many other tools that we did not need several years ago. So that I think the 220 guidelines are pretty similar to that. And even if you make 10 cents or 5 cents over, you are denied certain benefits. And I'm sure probably some of you have some kind of experience with this. So classically, who are the poor? Individuals generally who attain less than a 9th grade indication are a good indicator that they're going to be in poverty. And a college degree is an excellent predictor of avoiding poverty. Now, in these pandemic times, it may take people a little longer to find a job. And certain college degrees may earn more than others. But even with a social work degree, people on the street would say, well, you don't earn enough money, can't earn a lot of money. Well, you know what? It depends. It depends on what kind of a degree you have. If you have a master's in social work, an MSW, you could be an administrator. You could have your own private practice. I had a student once, and I may have said this in another video, she was an older student, and she only went on for her 2-year degree. And she ended up making 6 figures because she had a really good internship. She was an activities director at a local nursing home. And she had a lot of the other soft skills too. Dedication, showing up on work on time, excellent communication and people skills, and etc. So she got herself a job supervising activities people all over the state. So I'm not, in this day and age, I'm not saying, just get the 2-year degree, because honestly, a 2-year degree will get you entry-level jobs at this point in time. But again, the more degrees you have, usually the more money that you can make. I also want to say generally most of my PowerPoint slides would be a little fancier, but when you're trying to download this and you're trying to open it, it takes a lot of megabytes, so the less pictures you have in here, the easier it will be for you to open. So SNAP. SNAP benefits differ in different states, but generally people get $1.42, maybe $1.50, maybe $1.60, depending on what state you live in, per plate per meal. And another little fact that you will find on your test, hint, hint, that usually SNAP benefits last only 17 days in the month if you're going to eat healthy and if you're going to eat with a plate on SNAP, okay? SNAP is the new acronym for food stamps, and this is the reason it changed. It's called Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. The key word here is supplemental. It is not meant to be the main source of nutrition and food for individuals. It's meant to supplement. So that's why they changed it, so it can reflect the philosophy, okay? And also what they changed is, instead of those old paper coupons I used to have, they have an EBT card, electronic benefit transfer card. So there's less stigma when you go to the cash register, so that, somebody behind you doesn't say, oh, they're using SNAP benefits. Okay, so it actually increases the dignity of individuals. But, again, SNAP is not meant to live on forever. It's meant just to be supplemental. And again, that's why the name change. And then again, another SNAP benefits. Each program that you have sometimes has different income requirements. Okay, different income requirements. So you may be eligible for SNAP, but maybe not eligible for something else. And they all use different income levels. And by the way, these income levels are called, hint, hint, you might see this on the test, means tested. Means tested means you don't just go into the Department of Social Services and they say, oh, you are just such a nice person. I think I'll give you all these wonderful benefits. No, it has to be means tested. In other words, you qualify because of some income, physical or mental challenges, age, something like that. There has to be some objective criteria that they base your eligibility for benefits. So again, this is called means tested. And it's not like this in all countries. In a country like I had the pleasure for one of my classes of visiting Denmark when I was getting my master's in social work. And I studied the child care programs and other programs. And their benefits are very generous. They can go to college for free, starting with child care all the way up to getting their PhD. However, the downside of that is they pay an enormous amount in taxes. So a car here that would cost maybe $10,000 would cost like $50,000 there. So people usually take public transportation, and many people do not own their own homes. I stayed in the home of a host because her father, when he passed, had given the house to her. So there is some, kind of give and take for that. So generally, the causes of poverty are loss of a job, loss of a wage earner due to death, and divorce, okay? Are some people lazy and, don't work? Yes, but generally, that is not statistically, and every time I have this class live, somebody says, oh, I know this person who did this, or drove this big fancy car, and still managed to get SNAP benefits. So, but that generally is okay. Other causes are disability, loss of transportation, and unaffordable or inaccessible child care. Child care in this country is not totally free. Okay, again, that's means tested. Certain programs like Head Start might be totally free, but generally they are going to be means tested. Is not the cause. So this is a case study that I would like you to take a minute to watch. Okay, you just have to hover the mouse over and click on it. So it's a case study put out by the United Way. Okay, this is a case study put out by the United Way. So again, I like you to have some knowledge of what do people go through when they're in these particular situations. So this is a really brief history of how did we decide that the system was going to be means tested. Okay, unfortunately, it goes back to the Elizabethan Poor Law of 1601 when the United States was not the United States and we were ruled by England. So we combined humanitarianism and the Protestant work ethic. In other words, we thought people should be treated kindly, but yet the general feeling was everybody should work, except for they did recognize a couple of categories. They said children and individuals with physical challenges who could not work, they would give them a little assistance. And children who were orphans, they would also give them a little assistance. But generally, distinguish between the worthy and unworthy poor. So these categories were, worthy poor, and then, if you fell on hard times or destitute times, unfortunately, like in today's world, they did not recognize this. So, unfortunately, this is where we still are today, means testing. Other countries, I had the pleasure of going to taking a course in Denmark, 3-credit course for 10 days. And in Denmark, you can get free education up to childcare when you're born, all the way up to getting your PhD. Now, the downside of that is they pay really high taxes. So a car here that would cost like $10,000 would cost over there $50,000. And generally, so people take public transportation, and generally they can't afford a house. So they're, in an apartment. We stayed in a nice home with a host, and the only reason she got that home was because her father passed and left that home. So we're more individualistic in the society, and think, oh, everybody needs to, work for what they earn, for what they have. Not that that's a bad idea, but think about if you had, when we say, well, we have the choice. Well, think about what kind of family you were born into. Okay, if you were born into maybe a single parent family, your parent did not have really high education. You didn't have the same choice as somebody who might have been born into a 2-parent family, earning $200,000 and can afford free college for their kids. Okay, so we have to be careful when we use that word choice. Okay, because a lot of times our choices are determined by where we were born. Okay, came into play. Then there's Alice. Alice was devised by the United Way. And the United Way, Alice stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. In other words, somebody who's working at minimum wage, they are employed, but, and their assets are limited, and they don't really have enough income to kind of get exactly what they need. So if you're interested in this, type in the United Way of the Greater Capital Region, Albany, Schenectady, Troy, Clifton Park, etc. And they have stories of people on Alice, and you'll get a lot more information. They give you really good statistics on it. So if you're really interested in this, kind of, look around for this, okay? So this is going to be, again, the end of part 1. And then the next day you will look at a video, and then our other poverty, I will do a part 2, okay? So good luck, and contact me if you need anything at all.